We are wrestling.
Olympic hero Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Let's flip and go.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling podcast.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie here with...
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs worldwide. Ben here, one half of the We Are Wrestling podcast. Uncle Ben, America's favorite uncle. We got another stacked show for you guys today, and apparently some stuff I had no idea about. Before we get into what that exactly is, Don, take it away.
Yeah, this week, you would think that there wouldn't be that many topics, especially because WWE is going out to Perth, Australia for the WWE Elimination Chamber, which, by the way, this Saturday morning, up and early, the Load Ranger Ben, Uncle Ben, will be live here on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel for WWE Elimination Chamber. I will be sound asleep while he does the live watch along, so if you're looking for somebody to watch the show bright and early with, Ben is your guy. But before we dive into all the good topics for this week's episode, if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're listening to the podcast, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode. But if you haven't checked out the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel, where you can get lots of awesome content over there, and the video version of the podcast, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real. And not only do we have the Elimination Chamber watch-along this Saturday, which by the time this podcast comes out, you probably already watched it with Ben, because this episode will be airing immediately after the Chamber. Later on, Saturday night, Blitzkrieg Pro. I will be there live at Blitzkrieg in Westfield, Mass. It's going to be a great show. We're going to be sponsoring the TJ Crawford versus Marcus Mathers match as well. And if you can't make it to the event like Ben, you can go subscribe to IWTV. The show will be streaming live, and it's only $10 a month, and there's just so much great independent wrestling over there. So if you guys can't make it and you want to see me front row doing something fucking stupid, yeah, you can check out Blitzkrieg Pro, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also next month, we got a busy month for We Are Wrestling. We're going to be having our 100th episode of the podcast. We plan on doing something special. That will be towards the end of March. Also, on March 16th, I will be at the big event, New York. I'm going to be meeting MJF once again. That is a vlog you're definitely going to not want to miss, because you don't know what I have in store, which I'm going to be honest right now, I really don't know what I'm going to do. We're going to figure it out. We're going to figure it out.
Figure it out, buddy.
And
A little bit of time.
the week after the big event, New York, We Are Wrestling. Ben and myself will be at the Wrestling Classic 4. We're going to be vlogging. We're going to be a vendor. We're going to be having a table with We Are Wrestling shirts and some limited edition stuff. And I'll even be selling figures of my own there as well. So guys, if you do come out to the Wrestling Classic, South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass, come to our table, say what's up.
Yeah. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello.
And last week I said it was on March 24th. I was wrong. It's on Saturday, March 23rd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ben, how's it been this week for you?
In my personal life, challenging. In wrestling world and entertainment world, it's been a fun thing. There's been so much going on. We got the Deadpool trailer last week. We got fucking The Ones Who Live final trailer last week for Walking Dead. The fucking show finally drops on Sunday. Rick Grimes is back after 6 years. Let's go. So yeah, I mean, like, personal life, shit. Entertainment life, thriving. How is your
Thriving. Yeah, today has just been one of those days for me because right now we're recording this on a Thursday and a lot of people all over the world apparently have not had service on their phones, and I was one of them.
Mhm.
And with my job outside of doing content, I had to do deliveries today because both the delivery drivers and my job weren't there, and I needed a GPS, and I was totally fucked. So what a day it's been.
I don't even know how you make your way around something shit like that, especially when you don't know where the fucking place you're going is.
You know what I do? I call up Dora, she gets the backpack, and then she gets the map, and the map helps me.
What about Boots? What about Boots?
He was great. You know who I couldn't stand on that show? Fucking Diego. I don't know what it was.
I
with
couldn't
him.
stand Diego, but I fucking loved Swiper.
Oh, Swiper was the best. Hands
All
down.
right, we're not
He was
marking
the
out about Dora right now.
best. We're putting that over this week.
Dora the Explorer, that's who we're putting over this week, yo.
Oh, man. All right, so we're getting a little off topic here. Ben, what is your highlight of the week in the wrestling world?
The highlight of the week in the wrestling world, huh? Honestly, I'm gonna go with the camaraderie with fucking Cody coming to save fucking Jay, and then having CM Punk come out. That was kind of cool. I think that's a nice thing for the fans. I'm glad that, even though a superstar is injured, they can still be a part of the show in some capacity, even if it's after the show. It's not like months where we don't see them even outside recovering and shit. Because like back in the day, dude, for whatever reason, injuries and shit were like under wraps. Like you didn't see this motherfucker in public. You didn't see him talking in interviews. You didn't see him anywhere near WWE TV. Now you got CM Punk with a fucking cast running down to the ring. Fucking, it's clobbering time. No, the fuck it's not. It's recovery time.
You just sounded like myself, like when I would have like my wrestling fig feds when I was a kid, and then I would have like somebody run out to like save the day. It's clobbering time! Oh my god!
Yep. Mm-hmm. Know what time it is? Rehab.
Yeah, so I will say that was really cool, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't do a reaction to that, but I did a reaction to everything else that happened on Raw. I should have done that, but it's a little too late now. But my highlight of the week this week, it's definitely a toss-up between the Wardlow promo we got last night, because I was not expecting that, and the heel rock. Heel rock, that was just great. So I'm gonna have to go with heel rock.
Heel rock is a great mention. I honestly, this is gonna sound horrible, but I forgot about that. I thought that was last week, not this week. Like I said,
but here's the thing. I don't blame you for that, because obviously we record the podcast on Thursdays and then we air it on Saturdays. So a lot of the times we do forget about SmackDown, which when we're talking about SmackDown, it's usually the
following week. Yeah,
the following when you're listening to this.
Yeah,
but dude, the heel rock, that was beautiful. I never thought we would ever see this again.
I'm concerned that your other highlight was Wardlow, but we'll talk about that when we get there in the episode. I'm concerned a little bit, but at the same time, I can kind of get it.
Yeah, man, I love me some Wardlow. But with that being said, let's get into the We Are Wrestling weekly recap for the We Are Wrestling podcast, episode 96.
That's fucking insane.
That is
It's
insane.
insane, dude. 96 episodes already. Holy shit.
Starting things off with our We Are Wrestling Weekly recap, last Friday on SmackDown, Braun Breaker signed with the Blue Brand. What's your thoughts on him being a part of SmackDown instead of Raw?
I think SmackDown is like the best place for him, honestly. I feel like if he went to Raw, it'd feel a little out of place because I feel like the more bigger stars, like even like in terms of size, are on the SmackDown brand. So I feel like if he went to Raw, he would just plow through everybody and it would be almost like a mega push that nobody really asked for yet. SmackDown, there is a beautiful terrain to really build up his story and to build up, his main event status. Everybody in their fucking family knows who Braun Breaker is. That dude, as much as I'm not a huge Braun Breaker fan because I think he's a little generic right now, but I think, with time, it's going to, he's going to excel. He's going to thrive. I think out of anybody other than like, Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, and maybe a minor couple others, he's one of the only dudes from NXT who I see that really has a massive future ahead of them. Like a massive future, more so than a lot of these other guys, because a lot of these other guys are twice as small and probably not nearly as athletic as he is and what he can do for his size. And that is a huge factor because he has the it factor, man. Undertaker has said it. Triple H thinks it. We all fucking think it. We all fucking know it. The dude has the it factor. That is a big dude that could do high flying shit. And when you can do that and also sell beautifully and you're a safe worker, your mic skills are on point, you can play a heel or a babyface, what else is there to say? So I think that, everybody that's on the SmackDown brand would probably be the best bet terrain. And I think that it was a magnificent job on whoever's part it was to bring him to SmackDown.
I will say, also having the dog bark is a great way for him to get over on the main roster as well right away. Because I'm noticing the crowd, they're doing the who. I love it.
At least it's not like Randy Orton when he's just like, all right, listen here, big dog. It's a Roman dog.
I will say this definitely caught me off guard, him going to SmackDown, because I really thought he was going to go to the Raw brand, because a couple weeks ago on the podcast, we talked about Gunther's Intercontinental title run, because obviously Jey Uso challenged him, which we already know the results. We're going to talk about that, I think, in our next couple topics here. But
yeah,
I will say I thought that I knew Jey was going to lose to Gunther because of Jimmy. I already had the script for that. But I thought that Braun Breaker was going to go sign with Raw, because I've noticed when Randy Orton came back, both Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis, they kind of had like a bidding war for him. And they were trying to convince him to go to their brand, which I was hoping they were going to do that with Braun Breaker. So, like, for example, with Randy Orton, you had Adam Pearce telling him, if you sign with the Raw brand, I will give you an opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. But then over on SmackDown, Nick Aldis got Randy Orton to sign with him because Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, they put him on the shelf. And he can get his revenge if he signs with the brand. So I thought we were going to get something in that regard, except with Braun Breaker, I thought it was going to be the Intercontinental Championship. And I thought that he was going to be the one to beat Gunther maybe at WrestleMania for the title. But I will say this, I'm definitely going to give this a chance. I think him going to SmackDown will be probably a better opportunity for him to get more over and to be a bigger star. Because obviously Raw, they got the big stars over there.
100%. A couple things. One, I kind of hate that high key every new signing is going to SmackDown. I think that's kind of bogus.
I hate that shit. I like Raw.
Like even Jade Cargill, she went to fucking SmackDown too, and I'm like, I thought she was.
It's not official yet. Hers is not official yet, but it does look like they're going in that direction.
She needs to go to Raw, dude, because the Raw fucking needs her, bro. Raw fucking needs her, bro. But the other thing, yes, we thought it would be the Intercontinental title. However, I could see that being his first go at for the U.S. title after LA Knight wins it in WrestleMania.
Ooh, so a heel Braun Breaker
versus a face LA Knight. And I feel like Braun Breaker could take that from LA Knight, and then LA Knight's free and he's a free agent and he can get to go for the big one.
I definitely could see that happening like towards the end of 2024. I hope they do take their time with this. I want them to book him strong, keep that spear, put it over, because in NXT he's gotten that over.
This is what I want to happen. Have LA Knight carry it to the Rumble, have LA Knight lose it at the Rumble, have LA Knight get into the Rumble and win it.
That would be pretty cool.
That's what I think
it's gonna. I think it's gonna be 2025 when he does win the World Championship. You got to
That's
give
what
it
I'm saying,
time,
like,
guys.
dude.
Patience is key. Well, I
Absolutely.
will say this though with Braun Breaker, I am very excited for him to finally go up to the main roster. I feel like this is just long overdue. Very talented. I've been saying it for the longest time. I think he's got the it factor. I think that once Roman Reigns is really out the door and they're looking for that next big star, I'm talking 10 years from now, Braun
It's
Breaker,
Braun.
he's going to be main eventing WrestleManias. He's going to be
Oh, yeah.
holding world championships. I really think he's that guy.
Dog, I think he's got the potential to be the next Batista, 100%. Just a very well-rounded, well-loved world heavyweight champion. I think that he's got the Batista fucking push going for him. The only thing, and this is gonna sound so stupid, but I think the only thing that needs to be fixed with him presentation-wise is his fucking gear. It's so fucking silly for somebody that's
Yeah.
like him.
With
sorry, but
with the,
the
color,
90s
the color
fucking
schemes.
Dog looks like he straight up cut out the carpet from fucking Interstate 91 and just wore it. All right, that's basically what it feels like.
If you're in
And
the
I'm
Western
like,
Mass
dude,
area, you know that reference Ben just made.
it's like a 90s kind of like Taco Bell like atmosphere, you know, like those Dixie cups from the 90s. That's basically all of his attire, and I feel like that needs to change if they're going to make him serious, you know.
He
That's
did
like the
wear the
biggest thing for
number.
me.
Did wear the numbers one that his dad wore before. and
That's
they actually
cool,
made it into a
but
wrestling figure.
he just
I have.
looks a little generic for like his potential, you know. Like I think he needs a better attire set is all. That's it, because he just looks almost like Big Show, just, you know, a fucking, you know, whatever the fuck those things are called. It doesn't look
I like the wrestling straps,
fresh.
but I do get where you're coming from with
Yeah,
like, the
it's almost
colors and like the
too-
stripes, the polka dots. I get it.
It's too
It makes
generic,
sense.
and like make it like the leather shit rather than like the spandex, kind of like
Ooh,
fucking
the leather
Otis and
would-
shit has.
That would be
Yeah,
pretty nice. I
like
like
something
that.
like that. Give him more of like an armor rather than a sheet, you know? I'm not saying carrying cross armor, but I'm just saying something more quality, you know?
That I agree with.
Just something
But
more quality.
Definitely a great move for Nick Aldis. Great for the SmackDown brand. I think they definitely do lack some star power because their biggest star, he doesn't show up to work half the time. So bringing a guy like Braun Breaker, I do like that. Also, it opens the door for the whole Paul Heyman situation too. We can definitely see that down the line, which I think would be pretty interesting.
Oh, it was basically confirmed. It wasn't just, you know, it wasn't, you know, a prediction. It was a spoiler.
Yeah.
It's a spoiler, bro. It's 100% gonna happen after Roman's gone. That is literally his next client, unless there's an angle where he goes back to CM Punk for a little bit. That'd be kind of cool too.
That would be pretty cool. But moving on now to our next recap topic. Last Friday on SmackDown, my highlight of the week, The Rock cut his first promo with the Bloodline as a heel. What's your thoughts on heel Rocky so far?
Well, basically, I'm already feeling heel Rocky from the Attitude Era, just based on like how fast he talks. Like I've noticed that whenever he's pissed and whenever he's heel Rock, he talks hella fucking fast. Because he was like, "Oh, you guys broke the attendance record for the biggest gathering of trailer trash pack The Rock has ever seen." The Rock has ever seen, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, it's heel Rock."
I loved it. And then he had the $500 vest on too.
The fucking yeah, dude.
Loved
Let's
it.
not talk about the Versace fucking the Louis Vuitton Versace fucking vest, bro. But
I
as
loved
we
it.
know, if we're going into a serious route on how I felt, listen, man, we both know it. We have the script. He didn't hold up the 1, he held up the L. And right when
I
he said,
saw
I'm
that.
gonna make sure everything you can to lose. Notice he was pointing at Roman the whole fucking time. He pointed at Roman the whole time. He's like, I will do everything in my power to make sure that you are what you are, which is a loser. And he pointed at Roman the whole fucking time, and then held the L symbol. The only one to hold out the L, because he knew
During my reaction, I said that The Rock was holding up Bullet Club. But with The Rock, I loved it. And I don't
It's
think
gonna be
Seth
beautiful.
Rollins is turning on Cody. It's going to be The Rock turning on Roman. Because at some point during the match, Roman's going to get frustrated that Cody's not quitting because he wants to finish that story. And he's going to start blaming The Rock. The Rock's going to get sick of it. He's going to lay the smackdown on that part-timer's candy ass, and Cody Rhodes is going to finish the story. Going into WrestleMania 41, we're getting Roman versus Rock without a championship, which
I'm starting to
be
think.
great.
I'm starting to think that night 1's going to be Cody, and then night 2 is going to be him and The Rock. I have a feeling that night 1's going to be Cody, just based on this whole betrayal aspect. And I think that Roman's going to make it official, or The Rock's going to make it official right after the loss.
Dude, all I know
that
is
following night.
heel Rock. I never thought we were going to get this in 2024, and I'm all for it. Like, my favorite part was there's this man, he wouldn't shut up, so The Rock was cutting the promo, and he tells him, "Shut up, fatty." He said, "Shut up, fatty. I'll smack the herpes off your mouth."
You made me spill my drink on me, you bitch.
I loved it. That was such Attitude Era Rock, and I love that he could just get away with this on PG television.
You just made me fucking spill that shit on me, dude. I started dying mid fucking swig.
Shut up, daddy. I'm gonna smack the herpes off your fucking mouth. Oh,
dude,
man.
I gotta say though,
I love heel Rock.
like even all the way back to the press conference when he was giving that look to Cody when Cody was talking hella shit about Roman, just that deathly stare, dude. Like you could tell that Hollywood has really paid off with The Rock's promos and like just his aura. I can only imagine how everybody in that stadium felt being around The Rock's presence, because being at Survivor Series 2022 when Roman made his entrance, I felt like I was in the presence of God.
Me too. I really thought that as well. And like, I didn't believe the hype until I was actually there. And I'm like, oh my God.
Dude, I was like, yeah,
for real.
dude, it was like the first time I saw Roman wrestle.
It was huge. That was awesome.
It was different, man, because it's like you see Roman the first time and it's like, oh, you get all this crowd of boos, but the moment you hear the doo, 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 you're like, oh shit, let me stand up real quick. It's like you're inclined to. It's like your body's like, stand the fuck up. You're like, how does he do that? Fuck.
And I love that Cam. I love that Cam, the guy that was with me last week on the podcast. He just sat there.
Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Cam.
Such a Cam thing. Gotta love Cam. But moving on now to our next recap for this week. This past Monday on Raw, Gunther defeated Jey Uso to retain the Intercontinental Championship, thanks to Jimmy costing Jey yet again, third time. What's your thoughts on this booking decision?
I mean, like we already knew that he wasn't gonna win, especially on some random fucking Raw. Like it's very rare that a championship, especially of that caliber and that kind of prestige now, is ever lost on a weekly show. It's very rare.
We do got to bring the surprises back on the weekly shows,
we do.
I feel like.
We do. Exactly. And I think that, you know, he was going to lose. We knew that. We knew that Gunther was going into WrestleMania as fucking champion. Or right before WrestleMania as champion. It's way too soon. We still got a few weeks. I think that bringing Jimmy out was a good move, but at the same time, I feel like it was kind of random. Just like, oh, Jimmy's at Raw now? Like there was no pre-planned coordinate to do this. Like he just randomly decided to fuck his brother. Like it just
in the beginning of Raw, he did help Drew McIntyre beat Cody in that match. Him and Solo. During the beginning of the show, which I felt like that kind of spoiled it for me. That Jimmy was going to cost Jey, and it pretty much made my point like valid, because a couple weeks ago when we talked about Jey becoming the number one contender, I even said Jimmy's going to cost him. This is how we're going to start WrestleMania with these two. And
100%.
Honestly, I think that this is a great decision. I do hope that Gunther keeps the championship until Monday after WrestleMania, because I think after Jey beats Jimmy at Mania, Jey should get the shot against Gunther on that Raw in front of a fire crowd and have him get that moment.
I think Jey, if anybody needs to,
Jey's got to be the one to be the next champion.
He's been here long enough to get a singles title, bro. He's been here long enough, and he's got the fucking the resume for it. I mean, he's the only person to pin Roman in 3 fucking years. All right, that alone is already enough. And let's not add up everything else he's accomplished since then. So, yeah, don't sleep on Jey.
But imagine that, Ben. the night after WrestleMania on Raw, Jay gets
Open
the opportunity
challenge.
to go for the title, and he wins clean. That is going to be a huge surprise for everybody. It might bring back that night after WrestleMania feels.
We're going to do the whole fucking crowd, bro. The whole crowd is going to be doing that shit while he's waving that fucking title up in the fucking air. Just holding this shit in the air
I think that
fucking doing it, dude.
I think that this was great because this is a perfect way to start the Jimmy versus Jay feud going into WrestleMania. I wish they did more of the Rumble, but I think that this was a great showing for Jimmy, who I think, like, when I was watching this, my genuine reaction was, where the fuck has this Jimmy been?
Can we
The
just talk
last
about
6
how
months he's been sitting there just stooging.
Bro, can we just talk about how much great shape Jimmy is looking right now? He's slimmed down sufficiently. His arms are getting pumped again. Like, dude is taking care of himself, and you can tell that whatever, I think it may have been like the last DUI he got, he's cleaned himself up heavily.
Yes.
Dude looks great. His promos are great. Like, he's starting to get to a Jay level, but as a heel. And that's fucking awesome. And I love to see that. And eventually,
No, I'm not.
I never thought I was going to say
gotta
this.
disagree.
I never thought I was going to say this, but one day that Jay is better than Jimmy might be gone. It's just
no,
life.
never.
Usos
Don't
life,
you
bro.
dare fucking disrespect our buddy Jay.
I'm not disrespecting our buddy Jay. I'm not saying that he's going to be better than Jay because that's never going to be the case. Jay is just the ultimate Uso. However,
yeah, you better fix that mistake.
That wasn't even a mistake at first at all, bro. I'm just saying the dude is getting to that Jay level where I can respect him. And then the saying Jay is better than Jimmy, I'm not even going to say it anymore. If he can really capitalize and do his own thing, really keep killing it the way he's killing it right now, I have no problem giving respect to that dude.
You know what? I agree with you with this, but here's what I'm going to say about this. If we keep getting this Jimmy, I will stop saying Jay is better than Jimmy. But if he's going to keep being Roman's bitch, I am still going to say Jay is better than Jimmy. Because I am not going to give credit where it's due after one appearance. Yes, it was great, but for the last 6 months, he's literally been sitting there just being a joke with Roman.
So I'm gonna end my angle with saying a hot take. And my hot take is I think the bloodline story will officially be over, culminated. They will be split up. Everything will be done at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 40 will be the very end of the bloodline story. And Jimmy will end up going back to being a face eventually. So I think it's going to happen a lot sooner. It's been a 3-year long go. It's been one of the most, if not the most successful storyline in WWE history. I think it's time to put it to bed at WrestleMania.
I agree with you, and it's time to really go into the next chapter in WWE. I'm with you on that.
It is, man.
But moving on now to our next recap. This past Tuesday on NXT, the Good Brothers attacked Chase U and plan on trying to get the NXT Tag Team Championships. What's your thoughts on them being called up in NXT? Well, called down in NXT.
I was going to say.
I fixed my mistake.
I think you already know how I felt about the Good Brothers, and I think I've always talked about how I felt about the Good Brothers. I don't see them as a team in WWE connecting with the crowd. I really don't see them as somebody that can really as a team that can get over. Maybe on NXT, where the fan base are the hardcore wrestling fans, and they love seeing
they were doing the whole
crazy
too sweet thing when they showed up.
For sure. And I think that's great. But I think in the long scope of things, I don't think they're ever going to work out on main roster. They need AJ, or they just need to go somewhere else. I think NXT is the best place for them. I think it's, again, kind of fucking random. But at the same time, I think it could also help them as well, mixing in with different talent and also getting redeveloped themselves. So who knows? It could be a good thing.
Yeah, I think right now they're not being used properly on the main roster. They've never really been used properly. So I think them going to NXT is the best thing right now for them. I definitely could see them doing a faction in NXT and probably having the Good Brothers a part of that. I know there's a Bullet Club member that a lot of people are saying could be the guy behind these messages that we're getting on NXT, Tama Tonga. And I could see him being with the Good Brothers. I could see them doing something with them in that regard. Because think about it, NXT, we haven't had a big faction over there since Undisputed Era with Adam Cole, O'Reilly, Fish, Strong. So I definitely could see them doing something there with them. Maybe pair Good Brothers up with Corbin. That's another thing I could definitely see happening. I think them going to NXT isn't a bad thing. It's pretty much the drawing board. Let's see what we can do and just give it time.
Yeah, it's like, what
But
can we do,
yeah,
if anything? Yeah.
I'd rather them, though, go to AEW and New Japan because that's where they fucking kill it outside of WWE.
They do. It's just WWE is not suited for some people, and that's just how it is. Like, yeah, it's like the place to be. It's the place everybody strives to go,
Some
but it's not
people
for
it just
everybody.
doesn't work out. I agree with you. But now our last recap for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling podcast. This past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite, Wardlow dropped a bomb. During his promo, he took some shots at CM Punk and said, and I quote, "The best in the world, the real heavyweight champion. I beat his ass like nobody has. His body is still falling apart from me." What's your thoughts on Wardlow's promo? Because there's a lot of fans out there that are really happy that they're finally doing something with this guy who really was supposed to get a rocket ship on him and he was supposed to launch, but they just had other plans for him and he hasn't really been the same. What's your thoughts on this promo?
My thoughts is that this dude belongs in WWE and not AEW. That's what my thoughts are. Wardlow belongs in WWE. He is not cut out for AEW. One, the roster, too fucking big. Two, they are so unorganized in terms of story, like long-term storytelling, that you can't officially ever let this guy reach his full potential there. There's too many other toys that Tony has in his fucking basement that he's too busy playing with over and over and over again. Yeah, he dropped a half-decent bomb, I guess. Like, I watched it. I think the intensity was there. I think the intention was there. I think that he was trying to get a solid point across. But you can tell he is not a professional by any fucking means. However, because there was a lot of, like, one of the statements that stood out to me that I thought was kind of like silly was that somebody should get like fucking arrested and thrown in jail for that fact. I'm like, all right, that's a
Yeah.
little cheese. Like you lost me there, but you had me in the beginning.
Right there, that's like one of Chaz's DITB1 lines right there when he was playing
That's what I'm
Surge
saying.
Asian.
Exactly. So exactly. So I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was silly, but at the same time, it's like I can kind of get where he was going. It wasn't bad for my first like real like exposure to seeing this dude really kind of go into business for himself, you know, really talk some shit on the mic and actually have a level of anger there. It was refreshing, and I can kind of see why people are into him. The dude's built like a fucking Greek god. I don't know really much like how he is in the ring. I don't know like what his safe level is. I don't know
Very
like
good.
what. Okay, you know, and he seems like a guy that needs to go under Triple H's wing. He needs an actual solid platform to really own who he really is, capture what he's trying to capture, and then be able to bring that to the main roster. So I feel like he would do great in NXT for like a year and then transition to the main roster on Raw. I don't think by any means that he belongs in AEW, so I can't really give you anything there other than what I know. And what I know is they are hurting.
Yeah, with Wardlow, he definitely fits the WWE mold a lot better than AEW. And obviously, I could speak more on this because I've been watching AEW since day one. Very familiar with Wardlow's career. And yeah, his promo work has improved drastically because we
That's
always
great.
knew how talented he was in the ring. He's always had the presence, he's always had the look, but he did lack the skills on the microphone. And having him with
Mhm.
MJF was great in the beginning of his career as well because he was able to learn from that. And I felt like because of what happened with MJF with the whole double or nothing thing, and then he took a break because he wasn't getting paid what he deserved, it kind of threw Wardlow off. And I felt like he got lost in the shuffle. They were playing patty cake with the TNT championship with him.
Unfortunate.
And it just seemed like there was really no direction for him. I will say this whole Undisputed Kingdom thing isn't the best because obviously right now Adam Cole, who's supposed to be the leader of this, is on the sidelines injured. MJF, he's on the sidelines right now injured, and we don't know his status, which we all do think that he's coming back to AEW. We don't know if that's 100% or not, but I will say one of the good things about this group is Wardlow. I think him, just let the man just cook. Let him do what he's doing because he can get over with the crowd. There was a time where people were comparing Wardlow to Goldberg, but better because he actually can work in the ring. He would come out, they would have him backstage, and the fans would scream, Wardlow, Wardlow. And then he did the whole powerbomb symphony where he pretty much would powerbomb his opponent like 10 to 15 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd fucking loved it.
He was over as fuck.
He was so over. So now the fact that we're giving him a chance, I'm ready to see what they do here. And obviously, the end goal, I want him to go to WWE because right there, that is everything WWE preaches for years when it comes to wrestling, when they talk about, you need to grab that brass ring. Wardlow is that guy that you can turn into a main event guy. And I think that he would be a perfect fit in WWE. But right now, I'm thinking of AEW because obviously he's there. And I really hope that they do find a way to have him win the world championship at some point. I think the only way that they could do that is right now, let Samoa Joe do his thing for a while. Adam Cole should be the one to beat Samoa Joe for the title because he was supposed to beat MJF. Then Wardlow turns on Adam Cole and he gets that big babyface title change.
Because realistically, taking the title from Wardlow or Adam Cole is still doing justice in terms of long-term storytelling. So I mean,
exactly. And right now, he's a part of the Undisputed Kingdom with Adam Cole. So imagine Adam Cole being champion, which Wardlow, that's the end goal, which he makes it clear in this promo and interviews prior that he wants to be world champion. So you could definitely do something similar to like Batista with the whole Evolution thing back in 2005. He got fed up with Triple H, and then he went on to WrestleMania, won the heavyweight championship, and became a star.
Yeah, and it could work. It could work. I am on the side of a second AEW run. Like, if he were to leave the company, he would win it in his second run, because it's going to be one of those things where he's going to go somewhere else, build himself, come back, and win it.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. All I know is that got me very excited because he deserves this opportunity, and he really showed that, like, he shouldn't be backstage. He shouldn't be just doing squash matches. They should be putting him in actual programs and use him on TV.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of them toys in Tony Khan's freaking chest that Tony Khan right now is definitely going to the bathroom and putting that toy under the sink, getting all the dust off.
Let's hope.
But up next, we have the comment of the week and, of course, the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling podcast episode 96.
Hey, what's up, players? WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long, and you are listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast. And if you don't listen to it, then it's one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Gins, and the Load Rager Ben, are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and every week we do this thing called the Comment of the Week. And if you want to get your comment featured on a future episode of the podcast, all you got to do is just leave a comment either on the YouTube channel or our social media pages at We Are Wrestling. And this week, the winner is at Alive for Metal 731. And this was a comment on the Heel Rock promo video. And he commented this: only The Rock can insult a crowd and get cheered for it.
Maybe not only The Rock. I think the other person to do that was Steve Austin, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the anti-heroes definitely can, but I definitely
Always.
see where he was coming from, because The Rock is one of those guys that I feel like he's great as a babyface, but when he's a heel, he just fucking cooks, and you can't just sit there and be like, I fucking hate you, Rock! You
People's
can't,
champ. Oh,
because it's
yeah.
hilarious. When he told he said, shut up, fatty, I'll slap the fucking herpes off your mouth. That was
It reminds
fucking
me when he went
hilarious.
off- When he went off on Triple H, he's like, The Rock, People's Champ. Oh yeah, and I'm just tweeted WWE Champion. So shut up, bitch.
Shut up, bitch!
That's exactly what it reminded me of. Was so shut up, bitch. And then everybody was just like, damn. And Joe Rogan was like, damn.
The reason why that promo is so refreshing to me is because when Cody, there was this funny meme going around about the Cody crybabies. Cody says, I need to finish the shut up, bitch. I love it.
Oh,
But
that shit's so
congratulations to @Alive4Metal731 on the comment of the week. If you want to get your comment featured here on the podcast, all you got to do is just interact with us. Drop a comment, because we be picking them out of nowhere like RKOs. So with that being said,
Fucking comment down or shut up, bitch.
comment down or shut up, bitch. What a great way to get into the We Are Wrestling weekly news and rumors.
Let's get it.
So, starting things off, Sting invited Kevin Nash to AEW Revolution for his last match. Recently on Kevin Nash's podcast, Click This, he stated that he asked me to be a part of it, and I just said that, because of my positioning with the company, with WWE, I couldn't. I mean, I couldn't even be there in the crowd. If I went in the crowd, it would be, what's your thoughts on Kevin Nash's comments?
I mean, he's right. He's under contract with WWE, and that's AEW, the other show that nobody don't like. You see, now if it was TNA, it'd be a different story. But this is TNA or Japan, it'd be a different story. This is AEW. This is Tony Khan's circus, because he's the dude that just burns relationship after relationship after relationship. If Tony Khan had just kept it fucking kosher from the get-go in the last 5 years, dude, we could have had AEW talent on WWE TV. We could have had the fucking Royal Rumble moments, but no, poor Tony Khan had to fucking ruin it.
Yeah, I will say this. Honestly,
I'm gonna say Tony, man.
I definitely get where Kevin Nash is coming from, because obviously he is on a Legends deal with WWE, and he doesn't want to ruin that relationship with them, because right now AEW is considered the number 2, and when the rival company consistently brings up WWE this, WWE that, then of course Kevin Nash can't go over there. If they had a better working relationship, then obviously I'm sure WWE would say, sure, you can go there and support your buddy Sting. I'm sure even if Kevin Nash asked WWE if he can go there, I'm sure they would say okay, because they really don't care. But moving on now to our next topic, Shotzi will be out of action for 9 months with a torn ACL. What's your thoughts on this?
She went back to NXT too, right?
She did like a one-off in NXT, I believe, because she is on the
Okay.
SmackDown brand.
It's unfortunate because, obviously, as everybody knows on this channel, I'm high on Shotzi for, not only the sole fact that she's Filipino, but the fact that I think that she's, heavily underrated, and I think that she's improved quite a bit, especially connects with the crowd even more so now. Like, she's really, after that angle that she did where she got her head shaved, she really connected with the crowd and really got over. And it's unfortunate when someone's push is kind of cut short because of an unfortunate injury, and ACLs are a bitch, bro. Tearing your
Yes, they
ACL is
are.
one of the worst things you could fucking do for any kind of physical sport. It's a long healing process, man, because you have to relearn how to walk the right way. You got to rehab it. You got to make sure that everything's
speaking of the ACL tear, our good buddy Tyrone, he competed with no ACL on my DITB1 Glorious 2 show. And I couldn't believe it. He was because he got hurt at my buddy Jordan's wedding. That's where he tore his ACL. But at the urgent care, when they did the x-rays, everything was all right. And they misdiagnosed it. They said, oh, you just need to heal. You just need to rest. And for over a year, no ACL. And he even competed in a whole challenge, which I think it's still up on DITB1 or Best One Network if you guys want to check it out. And then after that, he got it checked, and then they basically told him that you have no ACL. And he had to learn how to rewalk again. He got the surgery. They had to pretty much build a whole new ACL for him. It is a long recovery.
I believe it.
But it's unfortunate with Shotzi getting hurt. She was picking up a lot of momentum. And I feel like she's one of those women superstars that could really benefit from a mid-card championship. I really hope after Mania we get a mid-card women's title, whether it's a women's IC belt or just something. We need something for these superstars to compete for.
Absolutely.
But we do wish her nothing but the absolute best during her recovery. I also believe Cora Jade. She even got injured not that long ago with her ACL too.
Yep. Then Nikita Lyons came back, and a couple weeks later, already back off and got back off. She's gone for another 6 months.
Injuries suck. It's unfortunate.
Yep. Yeah, man.
But moving on now to our next topic here. Bobby Roode has been cleared to return to the ring, but is happy with being a WWE producer. Recently on Chris Van Vliet's podcast, Insight, Roode said, I just got green lighted. The fusion has completely fused. So, as far as it looks, looking at from a medical point of view, it's safe to get back in the ring, I guess. But at almost 48 years old, given the opportunities that I've been given now to work as a producer, which was my goal coming to WWE almost 8 years ago, I'm quite happy about this. And I feel like I've had a good run, as they say, and I'm happy to do what I'm doing now. What's your thoughts on Bobby Roode's decision to somewhat hang up the boots?
The only thing I'm going to say about it, it's one thing I will say. See you at the Rumble, homie.
I hope we do. Honestly, I would love that for a surprise. Imagine that the Glorious. A one-off, I think that's definitely like not going to be out of question.
He'll maybe eliminate 2-3 people, maybe stay for like a 7 to 8 people fucking thing, and then get eliminated, and then he'll go back to being producer. But yeah, I'll see you at the Rumble, homie. If you're clear,
it's gonna be the Rumble
at least one more time. You want to go in one more time. Ain't no motherfucker has gotten cleared and was like, nah, I'm good. No, they get in one last time, even if it's a fucking one-off. So no, I'll see you at the Rumble 2025, bitch.
I hope in 2025 we do get that. Like, imagine that, the done.
Oh, yeah.
Glorious!
I won't give in.
No, I'm victorious. God, I miss. Dude, why? Can I just ask you this before we move on to our next topic?
What up, brother?
Why the fuck did he have to get so over with this Glorious thing in NXT? And like with the main roster, they did nothing with him because Vince McMahon was running it. Like, imagine Triple H right now is running WWE when Roode got called up. Imagine hearing Glorious at WrestleMania.
Bro,
we fucking missed out. That pisses me off.
I said I'll see you in 2025 because we're going to get all of those things, and then he's going to go back to being a producer.
And it's so sad because he could have had a world championship run. That's how over he was in NXT.
At least world heavyweight or fucking universal. But yeah, 100%, bro. 100%.
Dude, if Triple H was writing in like 2017 to like 2019, Roode would have been, oh my God, it's so, the potential. It's so annoying.
Man.
I hate that. I hate what ifs.
I got you, bro.
Speaking of a what if, moving on now to our next topic here. Over the weekend at an independent wrestling show, Velveteen Dream made his return to the wrestling ring. The past few months, he's apologized for his mistakes in the past, also did an interview with Chris Van Vliet owning up to his mistakes. Does Velveteen Dream deserve a second chance?
Normally, I'd say everybody deserves a second chance, but with the grounds that the things were done on, I can't really. It's hard, man, because I'm a dad, so I just, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fuck, this is a hard topic to talk about because it's just, I'm a dad. I'd be fucking infuriated, X, Y, and Z if I found
Well,
out.
give us
But
your perspective from a dad's point of view.
a dad's point of view, I mean, like seeing, I don't even know if you can call them accusations at this point because we saw the proof of some shit. Like we saw some of those conversations. I actually recently, when I found out he came back at Dynasty, I went back and I saw those text messages and those Instagram messages, and I'm like, okay, there's definitely something going on here. I mean, it's not a good look, man. And I mean, hey, I wouldn't want you anywhere near any of my kids in the fucking arena if I knew you were in it, man. Especially, if you were really grooming these kids,
Mhm.
I mean, I think that, I mean, you shouldn't have to, and I don't want to like be a part of the woke culture here, but I feel like to really protect yourself as a professional individual and even as a minor, I feel like a lot of these social media platforms, especially in the woke culture nowadays, and I'm not trying to add to the woke culture because I can't stand the fucking woke culture, but the only way I see this problem being fixed from it never happening again is that when you verify your age on Instagram, Facebook Messenger, what have you, you should not be allowed to message people over the age of 21 or depending verified accounts. You should not be able to. So it doesn't give you access. And in turn, as a verified account, depending on the age of that individual, you cannot message them either. So it's like there needs to be some kind of block, because obviously we can't trust kids and we cannot fucking trust some of these adults out here. So the only way to do it is by putting some kind of fucking wall in between it. Professionally speaking,
Wow.
yes, I do think that everybody deserves a second chance. The dude's a gifted fucking wrestler, but then again, so was Chris Benoit. So I just, it's hard. It's fucking hard thing to talk about. But go ahead, give me what you got, Ben.
Wow. All I got to say is I couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Like everything you just said, I literally can't say it better than what you just said. Because it's a
Yeah, man.
serious problem in this generation. Going
Mhm.
into, the new generation with, kids having smartphones and stuff. Like there's just a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that's going on because we're getting these reports not only in the pro wrestling world, but worldwide, everywhere. Celebrities, there's just so much of this stuff and it's sickening. It's sad. And like,
It's so sad.
especially like the parents, man, like the parents these days, they just don't have control. Like when I would act bad, my mom should take out the fucking belt and whoop
I
my
got the
ass
belt
with
and
it.
soap treatment, bro. I felt that. I got the belt and soap treatment. And it was called abuse back in the days, but it straightened me up to a point where at least I'm not killing people. Fuck.
I don't know, man. It's just like, it's tough with Velveteen Dream because
It is. It's hard.
the reports, obviously we saw the screenshots, but with, the officers and the courts, Velveteen Dream pretty much hasn't been found guilty with any of this stuff.
No,
and there
he was
really
innocent.
wasn't like a whole court case on it as well. So like we really don't know the whole situation there because they always do say you're innocent until proven guilty, but it's tough in this situation. It's
The way that I
very
see it
tough.
is if he was cleared to wrestle for another promotion that really took that opportunity to give him another chance, there's people out there that do find him innocent. And if he's really innocent and I can verify myself, like this didn't happen or this wasn't the intention, X, Y, and Z, then yeah, I can't look past it, but I'll try to keep it on the back burner for as long as possible. But in a situation specifically as sensitive as this, when it comes to children or murder, man, it's a blurred line, dude. There's some things that you can't really find a comfortable answer to give people when asked about it. So it's definitely one of the harder subjects we've talked about.
I totally agree. And going into our main event topic, like our main event topic this week is about the Vince McMahon allegations. And it's very tough for some of these superstars to come out who've had relationships with Vince throughout the years.
Solid ones at that.
and to like give their comments on stuff like that. So it is a very touchy, it is a very tough subject to talk about, but something I feel like you and I definitely both addressed in the best way we can.
The best. It's literally the most kosher, genuine, and the most sincere answer I could give, just based on I'm a dad, So it's infuriating when somebody that your kid looks up to could potentially be a predator, and that's fucking scary. That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, because that's one thing that we're fucking dealing with a lot in this freaking world too, and it's fucking sickening. It's disturbing. It's sad.
Oh yeah,
But
we both know
moving
that
on
personally.
now.
don't we?
Moving on now to our next topic here. TNA Wrestling has exercised Josh Alexander's contract. According to Fightful, Josh Alexander had asked TNA not to exercise the extension option on his contract. He was going to survey the landscape and he was open to renegotiating, but TNA did it anyways. There are no concerns from TNA about Alexander meeting the contractual obligations and working hard while he's there. What's your thoughts on TNA doing this? And before you do give your thoughts, earlier this week on X over on Twitter, there was a bunch of TNA wrestlers that tweeted an hourglass. I don't know if you saw that.
I think it's a strike. I think it's a strike to get Scott back, and I honestly believe it. Like they're saying that it's only a matter of time till he's back, because it's stupid. And the fact that they exercised his contract against his will is some corporate power bullshit, bro. They're not willing to lose one of their main attractions to all this shit, but it's like, you should have thought about that before you fucking can. They're literally the heart and soul of TNA. What made it as great as it is now again, and who really brought it back to what it was. So y'all fucked up. Y'all fucked up.
I said it. I did a whole episode of hot takes over on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel.
Of course.
And one of the biggest points I made was, imagine 1995, somebody got rid of Paul Heyman from ECW. What would have happened? Heyman was the heart and soul of ECW. He had the vision, just like Scott D'Amore has the vision for TNA Wrestling. He's the one that brought this back to life. This was his idea. And for Anthem to just take him out of this position is just, oh my goodness,
and
bullshit.
To put some corporate asshole, bro, in the line of it is just fucking unreal, man. I don't even know if he's an asshole. I don't know him. I don't claim to know who this new fucking guy is. I just don't fucking care, bro. I don't fucking care. Scott D'Amore had a family feel about him as, I'm assuming chairman, the president of TNA, he is everything that you would want. That dude gave me Shane McMahon energy, bro. And Shane McMahon is one of the most genuine souls in the world of wrestling, period. And I was getting a lot of Shane O'Mac vibes from him. Maybe not as characterized, but that family welcoming, warm feel that made you feel like you could go to him about anything. And apparently the whole fucking locker room thinks so too, because they're literally sticking their necks out for him. And I couldn't be happier, because I think it's fucking wrong, man. I think it's wrong.
I do agree with that it was definitely wrong. And look, because I love at times comparing sports to wrestling. It's one of my favorite combinations, especially on Monday Night Raw when we got the Michael Chandler calling out Conor McGregor. I fucking love that, but that's not the topic here. With Josh Alexander, TNA doing this whole exercise thing on his contract in the NBA, because obviously that's my favorite sport outside of wrestling is basketball. And a lot of the times going into free agency, in these contracts with these players, they either give them a player option, which gives them the option to opt out of their contract and explore free agency, or they have a team option where the team decides, do we want to exercise this player's option and have him back for another season? And a lot of the times in sports, they will exercise that team options so that they could either keep the guy or trade him. But this is pro wrestling. There is no fucking trades happening. So why the hell aren't you should have at least if Josh Alexander, one of your biggest guys, says, I want to just explore my options, you should let him, because you're giving him that trust. And that's a big thing when these independent contractors, these professional wrestlers, are working for your promotion. You have to have trust in them. And I just recently listened to an interview from Chris Van Vliet's podcast with Johnny Wrestling and WWE, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. They had a lot of trust in him. And look what happened. He had the option to go wherever he wanted. He could, I guess he got a lot of opportunities to go wrestle in the independents during his time off, and he decided not to. And he went back to WWE. So now basically they're telling Josh Alexander that they don't trust him. And now we know going into next year when his contract does expire with TNA Wrestling, he's leaving. He's gone.
And now it's officially he's gone. He may have thought about it. If you didn't exercise the fucking thing, he could have stayed. But now that y'all did, he definitely out.
He is getting the fuck out.
Yes,
but
is, man.
Moving on now to our last We Are Wrestling Weekly news and rumors topic. Oh man, this one's a good one. And Ben, you haven't heard this yet, and I'm going to play the audio for this for you all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs.
Let's go.
This week, Austin Theory got in it with a journalist during media in Australia after calling wrestling fake.
Oh,
I have the audio. Here we go. Who would have thought that this would happen to not only Grayson Waller, but now Austin Theory
are on. Let's go.
Here
I'm
we
listening.
go. The reason why, guys, I can't play the video is because we did get copywritten last time for that, so I will play the audio. So here we go.
Copyright.
What did you just say? I mean, it's fine. Like, you know, what do you mean? What are you hitting each other? Hold on a second. You brought me here and you're going to talk to me like this? Yeah, hey, no, man. I mean, no, just because you're in charge of some shit here, man, don't mean you can talk to me like this. I didn't mean to offend you. All you're saying what I do is easy, and you're in front of all your people in here talking about my job's easy. You couldn't walk a damn day in my shoes. You got me in here. Dude, are you kidding me, man? I'll smack the shit out of you right now. I'm not playing around. Don't bring me all the way here for some media, man. This guy's talking his head off, man. It's his problem, dude.
So, what's your thoughts on this reporter? Well, the question I do got to ask you, Ben.
I think it's a shoot.
I do want you to give your thoughts, obviously, on what you just heard. But I also want to know your thoughts on these reporters continuing to call this stuff fake. Because this isn't the first time that we've gotten this.
No, Grayson Waller almost leveled somebody on national fucking Australian news, and LA Knight was laughing his ass off the whole time because he's like, I'm about to get a monster push. I ain't getting in the middle of that shit. And honestly, I don't blame him. Australia, man, y'all need to fucking buck up and be a lot more respectful than you're playing out right now, because from what I'm getting, man, y'all are some disrespectful ass fans. And at this point, with how you guys are treating these wrestlers,
wait, real quick.
Unbiased
No. The journalists and the reporters, you could say that, not the fans. The fans do not deserve to be blasted for this, because it's not the fans that are saying the wrestling is fake; it's the reporters. Okay. Just wanted to stop.
People of Australia, y'all need to chill. Y'all need to fucking chill, because you got people out here who claim to be journalists that haven't taken a bump in their life, and y'all are some disrespectful fucking journalists, let me tell you, because you're really on the line of never having another WWE event out here. You're really on the fucking line. Like, get disrespectful, get a little bit more educated before you send your fucking monkeys out to do the goddamn journalism, because I'm going to tell you this right now. It's probably going to be another 10, 15, 20 years until they're back in Australia. I'm telling you this right now, because this whole media thing that's been happening in Australia the past couple times has been shit. It has pissed off multiple wrestlers. So yeah, Perth is a one and done, I think, man. I think Australia is a one and done for the next 10 to 20 years, bro. Like, as I'm fucking mad about it. I'm mad as fuck for them, because I'm like, dude, I want that same reporter to get thrown the fuck off that cell and through a fucking table and then tell me how it feels. Tell me how fake it is.
I want him to take fucking one bump and then tell me how he feels.
No, fuck
Because
that.
I've been inside the ring before, and that shit is not a trampoline. I can tell you that.
If I was Austin Theory, and I'm gonna sound like a douchebag, and I don't fucking care. If I
would've
was
slapped the
Austin
shit out of
Theory,
him.
no, I wouldn't have just slapped the shit out of him. I would have dragged him by his pansy fucking throat, brought him on top of the elimination chamber, and then thrown him the fuck off myself without telling anybody and being like, "Yo, how'd that feel? Was that fake? What saved you? What's the secret?" So before you want to talk shit and disrespect the fuck out of me on television for a company that's bigger than yours, think about it next time. Think about it, because I'm so fucking sick of people really thinking that this whole fucking thing is just some fucking charade. Stipulation, yes. Some hits, maybe, yes, because they do care about the safety. But bumps, dude, fucking suck. Fucking suck. And it could take one thing, one wrong little front flip off the apron to hit the ground, and you could fucking bust and get a fucking hernia, bro.
Big E can't even wrestle right now because he got injured.
Of a botch move. Tell me how fake that shit is. Tell me how fake that shit is one more time.
All the ACL injuries.
I need to.
But here's why. It pisses you and I off, who covered this shit every week here on the We Are Wrestling podcast. Here's why the We Are Wrestling Maniacs. It pisses us off because these performers that are stepping foot inside this squared circle, they're putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment. They are going city to city, putting their bodies and putting their lives at risk for our entertainment. There's a reason why a lot of us pro wrestling fans get so pissed off when haters say, "Oh, pro wrestling is fake. WWE is fake." It's scripted, obviously. Just like every other fucking television show you watch is scripted. Hell, I will even say it. The NFL, the Super Bowl, that shit was fucking scripted. I won me an extra $100 because I knew what was going to happen. It's all scripted what you're watching on television. And pro wrestling is pretty much just like every other thing. But what these performers are doing in the ring, they're putting their bodies at risk for our entertainment. They don't give a fuck about you haters. They care about us maniacs.
Rhea must be so fucking embarrassed. Rhea must be so fucking embarrassed, man.
I feel like the fan. But here's the thing. I feel like the fans, they're also embarrassed. Those Aussie fans, because they are very passionate pro wrestling fans. And I bet they're disappointed because these reporters are trying to make big headlines by taking shots at freaking wrestlers. It's fucking
brainless
stupid.
Fucking monkeys, bro. Because I'm like, dude, I'm specifically targeting like Rhea should be fucking embarrassed because this is her home. She's the biggest fucking women's champion, period, right now. You're bringing all of these superstars to your home to perform, to be like, yo, this is like one of the greatest places. And then you have some disrespectful fuckhead ruining the entire fucking experience and your whole vibe just because he's an ignorant fuck.
Well, at this rate, there's more than one ignorant fuck.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, you should, like, Australian reporters should have no fucking right to do shit for
you should be. Here's the thing. I'm going to leave it as this. This is the best way to close this off. They should be fucking honored. WWE wants to put the Elimination Chamber in Australia. They should be fucking honored that we have to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch this premiere live event. They should be honored that WWE is hosting one of their fun matches in their home country.
Dog, I'm sorry, but the only thing that was great that came out of fucking Australia was Steve Irwin, and now it's WWE, and they're fucking that up too. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, man. The best thing that was in Australia was Steve Irwin. Now it's WWE, and they're fucking that up. So now they ain't gonna have shit except for big ass spiders and kangaroos. So I'm good.
MJF's kangaroo kick. Aussie.
I love that shit. But no, I like on some real shit though. Aussie fans, man, fucking A1, but the reporters, mindless.
Up next, we have the Getting Put Over segment, and of course, our main event topic about an individual that nobody wants to talk about, but we gotta do it. So guys, we'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 96.
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast. Let's flip and go!
Saturday, March 23rd, both Captain's Corner and Zombie Hideout are putting together the Wrestling Classic 4 in Springfield, Mass. You can get the opportunity to meet WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff, Elias, Matt Riddle, The Franchise Shane Douglas, The Sandman, Diva Search winner Christy Hemme, Hornswoggle, and so many more wrestlers. We Are Wrestling will be in the house as a vendor at this event, selling t-shirts, meeting our fans, vlogging, and having a good time on Saturday, March 23rd at the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. We hope to see you there at the Wrestling Classic 4. We're back, and every week here on the podcast, we do this thing called the Getting Put Over segment, where every week, Ben and I, we alternate, we pick one past, present, or future superstar, and we put them over. Obviously, last week, Ben wasn't here, so Cam and I, we skipped the Getting Put Over segment because we did run out of time. But this week, Ben, who are we putting over?
The whole damn show, Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam, let's go.
Yeah, man. Oh, God, Rob Van Dam. He has to be one of the best, like to this day, one of the best in shape wrestlers that can still, for the most part, really keep up with, who he used to be. And honestly, I gotta say, I'm not mad because you see Rob in all of these interviews, and obviously, dude's, on the smoke train along with the Godfather. So you don't see him like there to compete, but dude fucking kills it every time he steps in a fucking ring. He gives it 150%. And honestly, for his whole career, he has never had a dull moment. Like, Rob is one of the most consistent wrestlers.
Yeah, no, in the ring, he's never had a dull moment, but like creative, yeah. I felt like that second run in WWE in like 2013, definitely could have been a lot better.
Doug, I forgot he had a run in 2013. I remember when he came back in 2009 at the Rumble.
That was awesome.
That shit was
great. But man, Rob Van Dam, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Such a genuine dude that, believe it or not, I've had the opportunity to meet him. I want to say probably, I think 5 times I met him.
Suck a dick. What? Really?
I've met Rob Van Dam so much. My first time meeting him was at a TNA live event, which at the time, he was my favorite during the Hulk Hogan era. I loved his entrance, loved everything about it. Huh?
Was that the same time you went into the ring to take a picture with Jeff?
Yep, around that time.
Oh, okay.
That's when I met Rob Van Dam. Because they had a thing where if you bought the Jeff Jarrett guitar, you were able to go backstage and meet the wrestlers during intermission. And I got to meet Rob there. Also, I met him in Poughkeepsie, New York, back in 2018. My birthday gift, I got the opportunity to go see Kenny Omega wrestle. And I met Rob Van Dam there.
Run it back. How much did that guitar cost?
Dude, it was only $200.
And you guys go back and meet the wrestlers, dude? Back then, they had a stacked fucking roster.
Dude, that's why I've always said this, Ben. The TNA live events, nothing beats a TNA house show. Because what they did for the fans was insane.
Can we go to a TNA house show soon? And hopefully
they don't do this anymore. Don West, man, he was the best with the TNA house shows. Like, they did the brown bag special where like you spent like $20, you get like 4 DVDs, you get like a shirt. That was like before like mystery boxes were a thing. TNA did that with a brown bag.
What the fuck, man? I was a fan at the wrong time.
Dude, the TNA house shows were awesome because the wrestlers were so open. The only thing that wasn't awesome though, that I can't put over, was I was a little kid and I was in the second row in front, and there was this other kid and he had a sign that said "Kiss me, Mickey," and Mickey James came out, and the kid that was in front of me got to kiss Mickey on the lips. I was so sad.
Yeah, I quit wrestling
that day. I told Mickey that story too. She laughed about that. But with RVD, I
Wow.
met him also in Poughkeepsie back in 2018 when I got to see Kenny Omega wrestle at a Northeast wrestling show. I got to see
Sweet.
Rob at, I think, Big Time Wrestling, Heroes Hideout, and
Oh, that
recently
surprised me.
at the big event in New York back in November.
Yes, I do remember that.
So I've met him a lot of times, and he was always freaking cool. Loved Rob. I love Rob. And we're going to see him at the Classic 4, so I'm excited about that.
He's at the Classic too?
Yes, he is. Rob Van Dam. He's going to be there. Him, Sabu, and Bill Alfonso.
I must have missed Rob because I saw Matt, but I didn't see Rob.
Big Time Collectibles is bringing him in.
So are we gonna get a new
We
intro,
might have to
or-
get a shout out from good old Rob. I think
You're
we're
gonna
going to
get a
have
new-
to. I think we're going to have to.
Man. We got to get an intro from him, and then we got to get
Intro.
a commercial fucking segment for from Matt Riddle.
Yeah,
Bro, you're watching We Are Wrestling. Roll
Oh,
a
I know.
commercial.
No, but here's the thing, though. I know we're getting a little off topic here, dude.
Sorry.
We need to find out where. No, Ben, we need to find out where they're doing this fucking rotation with this blunt that they're doing at the Classic because we need to get in there. The whole fucking show. We need to get in that rotation ASAP.
Oh my god!
Because think about it, Rob Van Dam and Riddle are going to be there. We need to get in that car. We need to hotbox them.
I'm telling you this right now. If I have a vape pen with me that has like my cart on it, I'm telling you this right now. I'd be like, "Yo, you to Matt." I'm like, "You want to hit? You want to hit, bro?"
Oh my god!
I'm coming loaded that day. I'm gonna find a way to come loaded with like 4 pre-rolls, a fucking cart, fucking all that shit. Cause Rob's here, Matt's here, Sabu smokes. I know he smoked.
Yes, Sabu, Bill Alfonso. Dude, we're gonna have an extreme fucking circle.
Instead of fucking doing this shit, we're gonna be like,
oh, we're gonna be, we're gonna be having an extreme rotation.
yo, dude,
Oh my god!
fucking
Wait,
Bill's gonna come
I
out
think
and
Shane.
high
I think
five Sabu.
I think I could be wrong here. I think Shane Douglas, he also smokes too.
I know that Flip Gordon does because he was chiefing that shit at the fucking Classic.
I did see that too, but
Yeah,
now let's
Flip
get
Gordon
back
definitely
into putting over Rob Van Dam instead of our potential extreme rotation. Oh my god! Oh. All right, let's talk about some of our favorite matches from Rob Van Dam.
Let's fucking do it. One of my favorite standout matches is him and John Cena. I think it was that One Night Stand back in 06.
Yes,
And
that
then
was
Edge
one of my
screwed him,
favorite matches.
and Rob
I
took it.
loved
Yes. That gave me the old school ECW feel. The small fucking the same arena that it always took place in. The fucking extreme.
Yeah, that was the
Rules.
ballroom in New York.
Yes. Yes. And you got fucking tables. You got fucking oh my god, dude. That was like the first resurgence of ECW after it fucking finally concluded in like the late 90s, early 2000s, if I'm mistaken, right?
Well, when that happened, because at the time, obviously, I was a huge Cena mark, and my cousin, who loved Rob
Must have
Van
cussed on
Dam,
TV.
won the championship, and that whole summer, I never heard the end of it.
You must have fucking been cussing at the TV.
I think no, I was okay with Rob winning it, but then at Vengeance Day when they had him lose the title right away to Edge, I think I got so pissed off. I think I did fucking throw something at my TV. I probably threw my Edge figure.
Man, that match was so explosive. I think one of my favorite
the heat that Cena got in there was amazing.
I think because correct me if I'm wrong, him and Mysterio did win the titles, right? The tag team titles back in the day, or they were facing for them or something. And they did the first 420 leg drop, and that shit was fucking insane. I remember marking the fuck
if
out.
he won it because during SmackDown, like in the early Ruthless Aggressions, they had a lot of random tag teams on the SmackDown.
Like Edge and Ray.
I could definitely see that happening. Could be wrong.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
that match was great. That match was great.
I'll tell you one I really liked.
Go ahead.
One of my favorites was at WWE Invasion back in 2001. It was Jeff Hardy versus RVD. I thought that was a great freaking match because that was during the time with the Invasion. And I think one of the best things out of that was Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam is one of those superstars that really does steal the whole match whenever he's going against whoever. Like, he could have been facing The Undertaker and it still would have been Rob's match. 100%. He's one of those big dudes that's a high flyer that can also really go with anybody in the ring and switch up styles. It doesn't matter what style it is. Being such a huge martial artist allows you to really be able to connect to any style and to really be able to toss in with some of the best. So I think Rob's definitely Rob is arguably in my second Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think if I had an ECW Mount Rushmore, he'd definitely be right at the top.
Oh yeah, 100%. Him and Sabu both, honestly, in their primes.
Speaking of Sabu, that was also one of my favorite matches as well. It was that ECW Hardcore Heaven, Rob Van Dam versus Sabu. Love that match.
Phenomenal,
love me some
dude.
ECW.
I love me.
And then obviously another one that I really liked as well was on Raw. It was RVD versus Eddie Guerrero Intercontinental Championship ladder match. That was a good one.
Yes. Phenomenal, dude. Phenomenal match. And that was like the battle of the frog splashes too, because he had the 5-star and then just the OG fucking Guerrero frog splash, which even to this day, nobody apparently knows how to fucking do. Like, Eddie Guerrero's frog splashes were just built different.
Yeah, nobody could do
them.
them.
And then putting up against Rob, man.
It's tough because I always loved Rob Van Dam's 5-star because after he would do it, he would like wiggle around like the ring. And it felt more like I felt the impact more with Rob because he sold it more than Eddie. But Eddie's was also very iconic, very legendary.
Yes. Another thing I really loved about Rob, and I'm actually going to announce a very new segment on this channel for when we're in person. I loved his theme song. And with that being said, I think a new segment on this channel that'd be really fun is Guess That Superstar, where we listen to 5 seconds of their fucking entrance music before having to guess which superstar that is.
Honestly, I really do like that for a segment because I do want to add more. I do want to add more segments in here.
I feel like it'd be hella fun.
That's one thing I love the Getting Put Over segment because we're not talking about the news, which obviously we do have to talk about the news because we do gotta, give them the scoop and we gotta keep them in the loop. But I always love talking about nostalgia. Nothing beats nostalgia. Nothing. But with Rob Van Dam, he's had a lot of storylines. He's had a lot of feuds throughout his career. What's one of your favorite ones?
Honestly, I'm going to go with one that's kind of like out of pocket because I did not see him being a double champ ever. And him being the ECW and WWE champion, I feel like was kind of like a story paved out by the gods because, again, I didn't see it happening, but it played really well. And ECW, that moment made ECW feel like it was a larger than life actual third brand for WWE. And for a while it was even included in the games, and I think that moment was so huge because that was like the first like cross brand like dual championship. I think
what happened though with what happened with WWE ECW that kind of fucked them was Paul Heyman not having that control. They should have just let Heyman do what he does and cook.
That, and I feel like it was also a mistake making it a third brand. I feel like it should have been its own company like it used to be.
Yeah, so but obviously with WWE, they want everything to be licensed by them. So like, I think it could have worked if they just let Paul run it like he did back in the day, because nobody is going to give you that feel like Heyman. Nobody.
Absolutely.
Because obviously that's his baby. He was the heart and soul of ECW.
Oh yeah. And it's funny to hear him not talk about how he doesn't give a fuck about CTE. I know we saw the tapes, Paul. We saw ECW.
But I will say this though about one of my favorite feuds is got to go back to 2003, Kane versus RVD. They were the tag champs. And then the whole unmasking, Kane turned heel on Rob.
Yeah, and then
I
chokeslam the fuck out of him right after.
Loved it.
See, I was gonna mention that But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with something that people aren't gonna expect. But dude, now that you bring it up, dude, that was such an iconic story, and that was just such a great payoff.
And it really put over monster heel Kane too at that time.
Yeah.
Because
And
a
then we
lot of
saw
the
Kane
times,
that we
like
know now.
when you take a mask off somebody, a lot of the times it doesn't
It
work.
dumbs them down.
But for Kane in 2003, it worked. And I think having Rob
was like a
Van
whole new
Dam be
machine.
his first victim, that was perfect. And then obviously we got Shane O'Mac, which oh my God, I loved it.
See, what I
Loved
loved
Kane in
about it,
03.
what I
And
loved
then he
about
lost all
Kane
that
in
momentum when
03
he lost to The Undertaker at 20.
See, what I loved about Kane in 03, and like I'll end the Rob thing here in a second, but what I loved about Kane is the fact that they were able to make him this unbeatable monster. Then they had him speak more, and then they started having him do the Kane or Rooney, which gave him some more like personality.
Yeah.
But then they were able to shift it right back to being this unbeatable monster that crawled out of hell the moment he took his mask off, and it really worked because you almost got to re-debut Kane. And it was like a whole
next week
new
I'm putting
era of
over Kane.
Y'all got the scoop, spoilers. Anything else you gotta say about Rob?
So with Rob, there is something I do have to put over as well, and that's his
All right, man.
TNA run. I love the beginning of it when he made his debut in 2010. He came out from the crowd, hit Sting with that kick, and I think the theme song is what I really loved because it was just so catchy. Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show. And then when he won the TNA championship from AJ Styles, even though it was a little too quick, I love that moment because like you just felt the energy in that crowd in Universal Studios. I think he had a
that's
really
great.
underrated run in TNA.
And I believe it. I think his TNA run is great. But in terms of theme songs, nothing
beats
beat
One of a
those
Kind, obviously.
One of a kind. Hey, one of a kind. Dude, that song is so building, period. And then the fact that fucking not Seven Dust, but Senses no, not Senses Fall. Either horror. It was Shadows Fall. They fucking redid it for that WWE CD.
Oh, yes.
They did
I
for the
remember
WWE CD.
that was a good one too. When they
I
did the
bought that
remix,
shit.
I love that album. That album was
Yes.
so catchy. On
That was the
repeat
first
all
time we got
day.
Rey Mysterio's fucking song was on that CD. I bought it.
But dude, Rob Van Dam, one thing I also do have to put over as well is the gear. So awesome because obviously everybody wears the singlets, but Rob Van Dam, there was just something about his singlets that were just so cool and so unique.
Braun Breaker has not any shit on Rob Van Dam singlets. He is the only person that really pulls off the colorful singlets, and it's because of design.
Yep. And also too with Rob, he just has that swagger about him that just makes him feel so cool.
Thank you. That is the exact word I was looking for. The swagger. Yes, absolutely. He has the swagger for it.
Such a legendary career. Obviously a WWE Hall of Famer. He's won the WWE Championship, ECW Champions, Tag, Mid-Cards. Rob Van Dam has done it all, and I'm glad that AEW, they're letting him do some stuff part-time. I know he's not on a contract over there, but he's able to still perform, and it seems like the fans, they love it, and it looks like Rob is having a good time. So honestly, he's had such a legendary career, and man, so happy we put him over this week.
Hell yeah. And next week we got Kane.
That's right. So guys, this week we put over Rob Van Dam, the whole effing show. Next week we are putting over Kane, and that's my decision. So with that being said, let's dive into the main event topic for the We Are Wrestling Podcast, episode 96.
Let's do it.
So, some big names in the WWE have spoken up about the Vince McMahon allegations. Recently, during an interview with Sports Illustrated, Randy Orton was asked about his thoughts on the whole allegation stuff, and he stated this, and I quote, "I would not be where I am today without Vince McMahon, but fuck, I'm reading this shit. What you've seen and read, I've seen and read. As far as commenting on that, it fucking hurts my heart. It hurts my heart." And also, John Cena recently appeared on the Howard Stern show and was asked about the allegations as well.
Yeah.
And he stated that I don't think it's complicated to talk about. It's complicated to listen to. That's why I don't necessarily put a lot of time and equality into it. There's still a long way to go. I can say that. I could say this. I'm a big advocate of love and friendship and honesty and communication. In the same breath, I'm also a big advocate of accountability. If someone's behavior lies so far outside of your value system, that balances shift of, I can't operate in a world where this works, that's the end result of being accountable. Right now, I'm going to love the person I love, be their friend. I love you, you have a hill to climb. There's a saying of, you don't know who your friends are until shit hits the fan or your back is against the wall. That doesn't make any of what's going on or any easier to swallow. Just telling someone you love them, it's a hill to climb, and we'll see what happens. That's it. It sounds so cliche, but it has to be one day at a time. I've openly said I love the guy. I have a great relationship with the guy, and that's that. It's largely my constructive operating with honesty and communication. Those are strong leads to handling any problem or achievement. The whole thing is super uncomfortable, and it sucks. It deals with an individual I love and an entirely I love. I want everyone to have the experience that I have, said Cena. Not only do I tell a friend that I love them, but I switch to the entity and say, how can I help? So what's your thoughts on the comments made by both John Cena and Randy Orton about the allegations against Vince McMahon?
Y'all are being way too fucking nice. I'm sorry, but you're being way too fucking nice. I could love my brother. I could love my mother. I could love my dad. I mean, obviously I don't, but I could love my dad. But the moment I found out they did some evil ass shit like that, that love is gone. I don't care what you did for me. I don't care X, Y, and Z. If that is the type of person you are, if you really did those awful, unforgiving things, I cannot, by my own conscience and moral compass, associate myself with it. Because I'm going to get bled in the same vein, and I'm going to be seen as supporting a monster. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, you don't have it. You started with you, and you're going out with you. So honestly, if I was in either of their positions, and this is speaking for myself,
Of course,
I would solely, one, I wouldn't say a damn thing until everything was done. But the fact of the matter is, though, a lot of those things were proven true. So I would not be able to associate myself with that. I would send that person that did those deeds a thank you for everything you've done, but this is the end of the road. I even if I was never involved in the product again, or if I was never a part of their fucking will or whatever, you know, it just, as in my moral compass, that is one of the things next to murder that is wrong. And I cannot personally forgive somebody for that. But then again, I can also see them being super nice because they are in the public eye as well. And it's very hard when you have your hands tied. The one wrong thing you could say is going to fuck anything up. So it's better to say something like that than say nothing at all.
Yeah, I think that you couldn't have said it any better yourself. You're on fire tonight with a lot of your thoughts on this. And I agree with like the morals and stuff. Of course. And, you know, with this whole thing with Randy Orton and John Cena's comments, I think everybody has the right to their opinion and how they feel towards something. I'm not against that at all.
For sure.
But I will say John Cena, I think in this situation, he's looking at it from a perspective of you're innocent until proven guilty, which obviously all of us pro wrestling fans, everybody, we all know Vince is not innocent. It's only a matter of time.
Exactly. But if this was like Shane, then I'd be like, all right, let's take a step back and let's, you know, rewind this and see how this goes. But Vince, there's no fucking
But I think John Cena is looking at it from that perspective, and I think a lot of the wrestlers are as well, because you do have to think about it from their side that John Cena, he wouldn't have had this luscious career if it wasn't for Vince
quality
McMahon
of life
believing in him and, putting him over all these years, making him the company guy. And that's the thing that's very tough about this, because if it was any normal person, Vince would have been in jail freaking 40 years ago. But obviously he's a billionaire, and when you have money,
Got a lot of
you get
power.
away with bullshit. Even though I think with these allegations against Grant, I think that he's not going to be able to get away with this, especially now that Johnny Ace is coming out and even trying to put the blame on his actions over on Vince, which that's a whole other can of worms that I'm not even going to open up. Maybe save that for a time where we get
That'll be
more
next week's
into the
fucking
allegations. But with Randy Orton's comments, you could definitely tell he's hurt. John
He's
Cena, you could definitely tell is hurt as well with the comments. And I think John Cena is trying to look at it from like, look, if you're somebody's true friend, like when stuff hits the fan, are you going to be there for them or not? And I feel like you can't compare like what he's trying to do here. Like, I respect his opinion 100%.
Yeah.
But you can't Vince McMahon is not one of those friends. Like, if like, let's say something, God forbid, happens to me or you, where like we live on the streets or something, go broke, then you can make that saying like your friends are, I don't know where I'm going with this, but like your friends, when shit hits the fan, they're the ones that like whoever's there for you is there for you. Those are your true friends that you need in your life. And I feel like you can't compare what Cena's trying to do here. You can't compare it to the stuff with Vince, because this has been going on since the 80s.
And the thing is, man, but just by Randy's response alone, you can tell who knew and who didn't. I don't think fucking Randy knew, and you can tell when people are not aware of things. And the one person I really want to fucking comment on this whole situation that I'm getting a little sus about right now is the Undertaker.
Yeah, because him and Vince, they're like best friends.
And he said nothing. So I'm like, Taker, your silence right now is enough to add to the whole fucking pot.
I think Taker, he will comment on it like later on. I think he's waiting as well for these allegations, because obviously because this is going to be time consuming. Like, this is not going, like, nothing with this whole lawsuit is going to change overnight. This is probably going to be a solid year, 2 years. So I think a lot of these wrestlers, they're also going to stay silent until we get to the hearings, the court hearings, and when the judge makes that decision.
Man, I completely agree with you, but I
agree. I agree with your morals, though. I totally agree with that, because it's very hard to forgive somebody for doing such evil, malicious things, especially the shit that happened to Ashley in WWE. That's fucking sad, man.
And what's killing me right now,
and I hope that she gets justice.
And that's another thing that's killing me. And all right, I'm going to say this as my own personal, I'm curious of. I'm not trying to open up fucking controversy. I don't want fucking controversy, X, Y, and Z. But I'm having a hard time really swallowing the fact that there's a chance he might have known, man. You are not that close to Vince and don't know about that shit. Especially when Michelle was very close to Ashley Massaro. You don't know. You cannot tell me that you don't know that shit. So it's gonna break my heart the more and more it comes out, because I know I love Vince McMahon deep down.
I think Michelle, though, she was in WWE, wasn't it 2007?
No, she was
she was there when Ashley was there?
06. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so she did the teacher gimmick, right?
With London during London and Kendrick's feud, and London was with Ashley in a relationship when the thing in Kuwait went down. Oh, that's why I'm saying, bro, it's fucked. And that's why I'm like, my mind, dude, I'm going to be broken more and more about this, because like everybody else, deep down, at one point, I loved Vince because of what he's given me in my childhood. But because of everything going on, it's weirdly starting to put this weird image of the Undertaker in my head. And that's why I'm like, man, you got to say something, because you, of everybody, is basically Vince's brother at this point. If anybody knew shit, it was you. So I'm sorry. I have my reservations there. And that's just me personally, not the whole fucking world, not the wrestling world, me personally.
Mm-hmm. And that's the
I
thing.
make that clear.
And I think you definitely made that clear. I think, with The Undertaker, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, because I think that there's a lot of answers that still need to be answered. I think there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And I feel like we're only getting started here with these allegations. And we get and I do want to put this out there to the Maniacs, because obviously we covered wrestling news. We cover the recaps of what's going on during the shows. And I want to put this out there that there is going to be times where Ben and we do skip some of these Vince McMahon allegation reports, because we don't want to talk about this every single week.
No.
It's very repetitive. Even though this is a very serious, touchy subject, obviously, and I hope that I hope that Janelle Grant, she gets the justice that she deserves. I hope that Vince McMahon comes out of this guilty and she can somewhat be at peace of mind. But I just don't want to talk about the whole allegations thing every week. But obviously, when big things like this come out, that's when we're going to cover some of the allegation stuff. We even might do extras at times as well, just so we don't have to add it into the podcast. But we're just going to have to wait and see, because this is going to be probably a year or two.
It gets dark, and this episode was a very dark ending. So it's a very dark ending episode. So you could tell that, it's not something we want to talk about all the time. But when big things do happen, extras or main events, depending on where it falls. So.
And like I said, I respect Randy Orton. I respect John Cena's opinion. I think everybody has a right to have their opinion about something. Do I agree with what John Cena is saying? Not really, but it's not going to make me judge his character, because obviously if I put my feet into his shoes, then maybe I would understand a little bit more where he's coming from, because Vince McMahon gave him a really good life, and he really gave him the opportunity to be the face of the WWE.
Which is no small fucking feat.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other wrestlers out there like Stone Cold who haven't commented on this. It's going to be very tough for a lot of people, and they are being seen by the public eye by millions of people. So you do have to be careful with what you're saying. And I think John Cena and Randy Orton, they both were very professional about their comments. And I'm going to leave it as that. But is there anything else before we close this week's episode off?
No, I think we covered it all, brother.
I think we did too. To give all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs heads up, you probably already have joined the watch along with Ben on Saturday. Early in the morning, Ben will be live for WWE Elimination Chamber. Also, later on that night, if you're not in the Western Mass area, go to IWTV and check out Blitzkrieg Pro, because myself and a couple of my buddies will be there. I'll be probably vlogging. We're going to be front row. So if you can't make it out to this show, which is going to be a stacked card, just like Ben, go to IWTV and watch it live. It's going to be streaming. It's going to be a good freaking time. Also, next month, we have the Wrestling Classic for March 23rd on Saturday. Ben and myself will be there, and we're going to be vlogging, and we'll have a table. So if you do come out to the South End Community Center in Springfield, Mass. on March 23rd, come say what's up to us. Come buy a t-shirt, and I will also be selling some of my figures in my collection as well. But guys, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics we covered on this week's episode. Maybe you'll be a future comment of the week. You never know. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, give us a 5-star review, not just any review, a best one review, and download the episode, or subscribe and turn on the post notifications, because those videos be coming out of nowhere like RKO. Links down in the description below. You can go follow Ben and I over on our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. Ben does reactions, I do toy videos. yeah, pretty much. You can check those out. Links down in the description box below. But of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.